Welcome to Lit with Ernest, the podcast where we dive into the world of literature and explore the most fascinating works of art. I'm your host, Ernest, and today we're going to talk about one of the most influential novels of the 20th century, A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce. Published in 1916, A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man is a semi-autobiographical novel that follows the journey of Stephen Dedalus, a young Irish artist, as he navigates his way through adolescence and early adulthood. The novel is significant not only because of its beautiful prose, but also because it marked a turning point in literary history. Joyce's innovative use of stream of consciousness narration, experimental style, and exploration of themes such as identity, nationality, and artistry have made A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man a landmark work in modernist literature. To understand the literary background of A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, we need to look at the major literary traditions that influenced Joyce's writing. One of the key influences was the Romantic movement, which emphasized the importance of emotion, imagination, and individualism. Joyce was also heavily influenced by the works of William Shakespeare, Dante Alighieri, and Thomas Aquinas, whose ideas on aesthetics, morality, and philosophy are woven throughout the novel. Another important literary tradition that relates to A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man is the concept of Bildungsroman, a German term that refers to a coming-of-age story. Joyce's novel is a classic example of a Bildungsroman, as it follows Stephen's journey from childhood to adulthood and explores his struggles with identity, faith, and artistry. The critical reception of A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man has evolved significantly over time. When the novel was first published, it was met with mixed reviews, with some critics praising its innovative style and others condemning its perceived blasphemy and obscenity. However, as modernist literature gained popularity in the 1920s and 1930s, A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man became recognized as a masterpiece of the genre. One of the most significant themes in A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man is the concept of artistic identity. Joyce explores this theme through Stephen's struggles to define himself as an artist and to find his place in the world. As Stephen says, "I will not serve that in which I no longer believe, whether it call itself my home, my fatherland, or my church." This quote highlights Stephen's desire for artistic freedom and his rejection of traditional authority. Joyce's use of stream of consciousness narration is another innovative technique that sets A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man apart from other novels. By using a fluid, unstructured narrative voice, Joyce creates a sense of immediacy and intimacy, drawing the reader into Stephen's inner world. As we read through the novel, we experience Stephen's thoughts, feelings, and sensations in real time, which creates a powerful sense of identification with the character. A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man has had a profound influence on modern literature and culture. The novel's experimental style and themes have inspired generations of writers, including Samuel Beckett, Virginia Woolf, and T.S. Eliot. The novel's exploration of identity, nationality, and artistry has also made it a classic of Irish literature, influencing writers such as Seamus Heaney and Roddy Doyle. In addition to its literary influence, A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man has been adapted into numerous films, plays, and musical compositions. The novel's themes and characters have also been referenced in popular culture, from music to film to television. As we conclude our discussion of A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, I want to highlight why this work remains important and relevant to modern readers. Joyce's exploration of artistic identity, nationality, and the search for meaning continues to resonate with audiences today. The novel's innovative style and themes have made it a timeless classic, one that continues to inspire and challenge readers. In terms of literary concepts, A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man is a prime example of modernist literature, which emphasizes experimentation, fragmentation, and the rejection of traditional narrative structures. The novel's use of stream of consciousness narration, free indirect discourse, and unreliable narrators are all characteristic of modernist techniques. Furthermore, a portrait of the artist as a young man is also an example of a Künstlerroman, a German term that refers to a novel about an artist's development. The novel's exploration of Stephen's artistic growth and struggles with identity makes it a classic example of this genre. As we reflect on the significance of a portrait of the artist as a young man, we are reminded of the enduring power of literature to shape our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Joyce's novel is a masterpiece of modernist literature, a work that has influenced generations of writers and continues to inspire readers today. Share your thoughts on A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for more discussions on literature and culture. Like this episode if it hit true. Share it if you respect honest talk about books. Subscribe because we'll do this again. This is Ernest, signing off.